Hello, everybody, and thank you for stopping by for yet another edition of the Massachusetts Whiskey Reviews show on YouTube. My name is Thomas Metal75, and this is your Massachusetts Whiskey Reviews. And I've been looking forward to trying anything from this brand. So when I saw a more economically affordable bottling from said company at a 93 proof, I thought that would be a great way to introduce myself for the first time into said distillery. And they are a newcomer relatively, I believe, in within this past 2024 year here into the New England and Southern New England market. So, high time I get going. Time to take the high road with the hard truth, High Road Rye. This is their offering in their Sweet Mash series, I believe is what you would call that. But this is a year-round offering for the Hard Truth Distilling Company out of Nashville, Indiana. And this says aged over 3 years, distilled in Indiana, distilled and bottled by the Hard Truth Distilling Company. And they say on the back of the bottle, distilled with the finest grains and water by Indiana's Sweet Mash Pioneers, trademarked. So like I said, this is a 93 proof, which is 46.5% ABV, mash distilled and aged in charred American oak barrels, Brown County, Indiana. Great times, better whiskey. Always take the high road. It's far less crowded. And it says great times, new, better whiskey on a little tag. Okay. What else can I tell you? I believe from what I found online, this was the High Road Rye was introduced in July of 2023 on the market. And it comprises of a mash bill with 55% rye. It is a rye whiskey. 55% rye, 36% corn, and 9% malted barley. And according to a quote from Master Distiller over at Hard Truth, Brian Smith, quote, "This is Hard Truth's first year-round sweet mash rye whiskey with corn in the mash bill. It's supposed to be at a $39.99 US dollar MSRP, and that's exactly what I bought it for. So for a $40 entry point into Hard Truth, sign me up. They do so many different expressions with rye malt, with rye in the mash bill, should I say. They do sweet bourbons. They do some other kind of bourbons. They do lots of things with ryes. They have higher proof sweet mash varietals, vodkas, flavored spirits. The gamut runs on. But yeah, rye seems to be what they're most notable for. Established in 2015, nonetheless. So let's see if I can get the, take this little tag off, see if I can get the crack going on this bottle. I don't see a perforation. Oh, wait, do I? Bear with me. There we go. Awesome. And this is a cool cork. Ooh, that was super tight. Real cork. Nice. And look at that little charred looking, barely wooden kind of look to the cork topper. That is classy. Nice. All right. Let's get a little sample, shall we? First pour, neck pour. Ooh. Probably poured a little bit too much. That's okay. All right. We're going to assess the whiskey as we normally assess the spirits on this channel. We'll do the 6-point rating scale to round out to your 100-point scale. Up to 10 points total for looks, aesthetics, and value. 20 points each for aroma, taste, mouthfeel, and finish. So let's go right into the looks aesthetics, shall we? Nice looking bottle. It says the distillation number on it. It says 93 proof. It says it's in the Sweet Mash series, which is the main reason I actually bought it from Hard Truth. Let's take a look at the whiskey itself. Coloration. A very dark amber, kind of a dark honey color. 93 proof, not very long-lasting legs or anything substantial there. I like the bottling look. It's very distinctively a Hard Truth bottle. You know that from across the store. And I mean, it looks good. I like the presentation. I like the bottling. I like the look of it. Not the prettiest thing known to mankind. Let's go with 7 out of 10. I do a lot of 7 out of 10s. Let's get into the aromas. So only being 55% rye in the mash bill, legally you have to have 51 to be called a rye in the United States of America. So this is going to, I'm going to imagine, since it's got 36% corn, this is going to be a bourbon drinkers friendly kind of a rye with more of a bourbon drinkability and smell. So I do get some mintiness. Definitely a minty herbal, eucalyptus, menthol kind of a note. I get the corn sweetness in the background. I get a vanilla. There's a dried fruit or like a dried orange and another darker fruit in the background. Keep wanting to think raisin here for a minute, so I'm going to say it. Yeah, dark fruits, dried citrus fruits. I got that mentholated rye note to it. 9% malted barley. Slight bubblegummy sweetness to it, just a little bit. Interesting. Not a depth of nose. Oh yeah, there's like that grape bubblegummy thing in there mixed with that mentholated thing. And maybe a touch of a brown sugar. Yeah. That's interesting. Nothing great to write home about. I'll give that a 16. And let's do the taste, shall we? Cheers. Hard Truth, High Road Rye. Bubblegummy sweetness to it. Vanillas, caramels. I'm getting that dried fruit in the background, or that dried citrus fruit. Definitely a bourbon drinker friendly, sweeter mash profile. Let me get a sip of some water, shall I? Definitely a sweeter mash profile overall, obviously. Sweet mash, says it right there, in gold. Little florally. Cinnamon, brown sugar, baking spice. Bubble gum, minty, dried orangey notes. Maybe a twinge of leather, not quite. It's not the most luxurious or mouth coating thing. It's got some richness to it. I would say the taste is very approachable. Easy drinking. Let's go with a 16 overall. Not the most giant, complex depth of flavor, but they're nice, sweet flavors. And I'm getting left in the finish with that dried kind of a orangey note. and the sweet corn and some vanilla. There is a little bit of a black pepper or a peppery spice as it finishes. It's drinking like a very high rye bourbon. Pretty nice overall for $40. There's a lot going on for $40, even though I'm giving it a 16 on the taste. Mouthfeel, let's give that another 16. Slight edge of creaminess, but not really. I would say the mouthfeel is maybe it's on the medium side. It's not thin. I wouldn't say it's necessarily thin, but it doesn't have long-lasting coating flavors. And the finish is pretty good. Even though it's short-lived, the finish. Nice sweeter caramels. And the corn mash is in that sweet finish there. And then it goes over to the black peppery almost kind of a flavor, I guess, with the some sort of a dried orangey thing that's trying to happen. That's a cool finish. And then just caramel as it's drying. I'll give that a 17. I think that's the best part of the whiskey, honestly. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to talk about the value. $40. I'm definitely not mad at this for $40. You could probably do better, I bet you, but I have not really explored rye whiskeys in any capacity. This, I think, is the first rye whiskey I'm going to ever do on my channel. Go figure it's with the hard truth. $40. Are there better ones out there? Yeah, probably. Can I really judge for what I don't know? I don't know. 8 out of 10. Are these guys craft? I don't know, but I would seem to think that probably are. So, yeah, I think it's a good value. I think there's a lot of upside to that. I think it's an easy drinking high rye or high road rye is an easy drinking whiskey at 93 proof. That 46.5 when you want a rye whiskey and you do not want high proof. So, what else can I tell you? Let me get my final sips and thoughts here before we tally up the score, shall we? There's a real herbal thing in the middle of the palate. Not too shabby. I almost want to move the taste up to a 17, but I think the mouthfeel is right at 16. You know, I'm going to keep everything where it is. So we're going to give a 7 to the looks and aesthetics, a 16 to the aroma, 16 to the taste, 16 to the mouthfeel, 17 to the finish, and an 8 to the value. This is still a recommendation at 80 points out of 100 for the Hard Truth Sweet Mash, their High Road Rye. And after drinking this, I can just imagine, should I say, the depth of flavor that you're going to get from that sweet mash rye. Forget what the proof point is on that one, but I think it was closer to that $70 to $80 mark at the liquor store. So I wanted to get an entry point into some rye from Hard Truth out of Nashville, of all places, Indiana, not Tennessee. And I'm not disappointed for an 80 at 100 for a $40 bottle. Nope. You can get Redwood Empires for cheaper than that around the same proof point. I think that has a little more herbal pininess to it than one that I got my buddy Kyle for his birthday. I think it was Was it? No, it was a bourbon. Was it a bourbon rye mix, or did I just get him a straight rye? Maybe Emerald Giant or Pipe Dream. One of those. I think I ended up liking that one a little better, but would have to do a review to really know. Anyways, 15 minutes into it. High Road Rye. Hard Truth Distilling a Company. We're going to give that an 80 out of 100. Have you had the Hard Truth? What do you think of their rye whiskeys? What do you think of lower proof rye whiskeys in general? And until next time, it's Thomas Mel 75. Keep tasting those great whiskeys. Cheers. I will see you soon.